So here you go.
Make sure you hit continue.
Yes.
Hit continue.
Make sure that on your screen.
It won't go off on my screen. Make sure you on your screen hit continue. I have put the parking lot link in the chat box so you guys can use that when you have questions.
And friends, I think it's important for us because Ruth and I are classroom teachers as well. We don't have the answers. We love and are passionate about SEL, and that's what we're sharing with you today. But we also understand the feelings and the anxiety and the worries about the unknowns. Please use this parking lot link as a place to put those questions. I can tell you that last week during our sessions, these were looked at by the district, and they are being helped just to be made a FAQ and guidebook for us. All right. So thanks for coming, and we'll continue moving on.
Awesome. Well, you guys know all the core priorities. We've been at the BC long enough that you've heard these a million times. Today we are focusing on priority 3, which is a culture of student-centered schools. So that is where we are focusing today. Again,
that whole child is our focus. All right, you guys ready? I'm gonna check you guys out. I'm looking at you. Kimberly, are you?
I don't know if they're ready yet.
Luz, are you ready? Okay.
Mr. Lopez, he's ready.
Ken Walker, are you ready?
Mr. Lopez.
All right. So here's what we're gonna do. You have 2 minutes. I hope you can do this in less than 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes. When I say go, you're going to go find a piece of school swag, a paper, and something to write with. A crayon, lipstick, pencil, you name it. All right? And go. Get up, go find it. If you all come up, we're gonna get through this quicker. There's a lot of you that don't have your cameras on. You must not want us to check you out. Look at Lori is ready and she's at Disneyland. Lori, thank you for being on time, and look at her, she is ready.
Lori's at Disneyland and she's able to find everything she needed. So.
I know. That's my happy place, and I've been so sad I haven't been able to be there since February. Mercedes, do you have what you need? All right. You know what? In that chat box, give me a yes or a thumbs up if you are ready, because we're not even at a minute, and we might be able to just move forward, because you know we're always looking for that precious time in our instructional day. Look at all these ready.
And even if you don't have your camera on, you're still participating.
Oh, I love it.
A lot of readies.
A thumb up. All right. So you know what? I'm going to come back a little bit early. How about that? Because we don't want to run out of time. Ooh, Ken has on his Fremont Falcons shirt. I love it. All right, we're gonna stop at 1:30. Everybody get in your seats. Christina, you are at the beach, girl. I love it. All right. So you know your students are gonna wear fun things or do fun things, so you gotta practice, right? All right, so here we go. You need your pencil or writing utensil with you. You need your paper. And then I want you to put that swag somewhere so we can see it. But you are going to look at this picture for 30 seconds. I mean, for about 5 seconds, excuse me. And then I'm going to give you 30 seconds to draw, okay? But let me tell you, friends, there's one caveat. You must close your eyes, okay? So here is our picture. Take a look. You have about 8 seconds. Take a look at that picture. All right, now, you are going to close your eyes, no peeking, and you have 30 seconds on the clock to draw this cute farm animal, and go. 30 seconds on the clock. Closing those eyes. Oh, I saw somebody peek. I saw somebody peek. You know our students are going to peek. I love it. Look at Elizabeth. She is getting us all with her eyes closed. All right, about 5 seconds. And stop. All right. Please reveal your beautiful masterpieces to the camera. Wow, Leslie's looks pretty good. Ken, yours looks like a lot of circles. I love it. Wow. Okay, Kimberly. Kimberly got the curly Q. Wow, Christina, yours looks, if I didn't know better, you just drew an amazing hippo. I love it. Nice. Wow, Elizabeth. All right. So now give me a thumbs up, virtually or in person. How many of you feel like that wasn't your best artwork? That wasn't mine. I did one the other day. I did a fish and it was not my best. Did we all make some mistakes? Did we all not do as well as we would have wanted to? We all want to do everything perfect, right? Okay, so now I want you, I'm going to give you 30 more seconds, and I want you to either enhance the pig that you already drew, so make it something, you know, embellish it, or draw a new pig. I'm even going to let you look at it, all right? 30 seconds. Draw another pig with your eyes open this time. You can even look at the picture. I see lots of you glancing up at the screen. Miss Jones is drawn away. Miss Castillo. And stop. All right. Give me a thumbs up if that was better your second time around. Lori Morris said it was better. Jennifer, oh, wow. You know, I do not know how to say your first name. It's a beautiful name, but Miss Jones, that was dynamite. Your second one, I loved it. Miss Petrini, feeling confident about the new pig that we made. All right. All right. We wanted to show you that there is always, it's okay to make mistakes like we've heard. There's always room to grow. And sometimes when we have a little bit of an extra aid for us, it'll take us a lot further and will help us kind of guide us a little bit better. So might want to try this with your students, especially as we're trying to teach them that, you know, and do it with them even, and let them see that it's okay. I think sometimes we as teachers say it's okay to make mistakes. You know, we say that, we verbalize that, but then we don't really always show it in our behavior or attitude. So anyway, that was just a fun activity to get you going. All right, go ahead, Miss Ruth.
All right, somebody's already asking me in the chat, are we going to get a link to all of this? Yes.
Oh.
At the very end, we will hand out this presentation. So you will all get this presentation, but we're going to do it at the very end so we can all follow along on the same slide at the same time. So yeah, so look out for that link. It will be at the very end.
At the end.
Yes. So I assume you guys know that you're in Toolbox and Beyond. So we have assumed that you already know some Toolbox, have taught Toolbox, have been around Toolbox. But today we're still going to navigate the curriculum in a more virtual format, and then just getting information and ideas from our fellow teachers, because you guys are the ones that have done it. So we really want to have this as an opportunity to share our ideas that we've learned together. So, but yeah, and then in a virtual format. So next slide.
All right, you guys ready? I know you just did an activity, but this time we want you to build some camaraderie with your groups. So it looks like we have a little over 40 people. So in your groups, we want you to do 3 things. And again, we're not going to share out to the whole group when we come back. This is just for you guys. Introduce yourself. What's your all-time favorite movie or binge show? And then what are some grows and glows from your experience with Toolbox? And that's the most important. We want you to share with the teachers in your group what it is that you grew from and saw as helpful in your classroom with Toolbox. All right, so we're going to give you 5 minutes, talk in your groups, and we will not be sharing out when we come back. It's just for you to get an opportunity to use breakouts. All right. And I will let you know. Let's see.
Susie, are you having a hard time getting to your breakout?
Do you want to push her out if you can?
I can't force people to go to a breakout.
Okay, well, I'm just
Susie, are you having a hard time going to your breakout?
looks like Susie, there she is. Okay.
Oh, she's going one. Okay.
Oh, she got there. Okay.
That Galaxy person went to their breakout and they refused to answer me.
I did notice that they put it in, they put their name in there, but that doesn't help. I mean, I'll have to go back. Wait, Prince.
Yeah, I'll have to find it. Oh yeah, Brittany Riley downtown. Oh, I did actually already get her.
Okay. Okay.
So it's kind of frustrating that she would not answer my question.
Yeah.
Oh no, Francisco. Mr. Lopez, what happened? He's my coworker. Mr. Lopez.
I just put him into another room, too.
He was on earlier. I saw him.
All right.
He might be having a hard time.
I think he may have gotten in there now.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it was like almost like you were like slow motion is what was happening.
I literally am on top of my router and I don't have the cord that Maria was talking about because I think I need a double USB cord and I don't have one of those, so I can't directly plug in. It's frustrating because, you know.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that when I teach tomorrow, because it's such a small group, that my Wi-Fi will be okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm the one hosting. Yeah, if I'm cutting out, just like mute me and then just start talking. I'm like, I don't want anyone to be like, it sucked because this is part of the recording. Whoops. But
well, I noticed all of a sudden there were people.
Awful because no one could hear her. So you can just mute me and then talk over me. We'll be back when her Wi-Fi works.
Too funny. Let's see here. When we come back. Oh, okay. I'm trying to think of how we can get through this.
I'm like gonna try to go so fast.
I know. I don't know. Maybe we just. Maybe I don't know.
I'm really gonna try to go so fast and like. I know they really want that other breakout.
All right. 1 minute left.
You guys are early.
Oh, naughty. You guys had a whole nother minute, room 8.
We were just extra productive.
Oh, I like it. You were in my class. We love the word efficient. So you were efficient.
No, you guys are so efficient.
Love it. All right.
Yeah, and you had me dying. You were just like munching on some, you were munching.
Efficiency is key, right? We've all learned that, whether we're in the classroom or at home. All right, everyone should be coming back with us.
Okay.
Welcome back. I see you coming in. If anybody has a good Netflix or Hulu show, put it in the chat. I'm going to give you my 2 right now. Indian Matchmaker. I think it's like 8 episodes. It's fascinating. The culture of the Indian matchmaking was fantastic. And the second one just came out, and it is called Love on the Spectrum. Friends, if you need to feel good, there is still good in humanity. That is a fabulous. It's 5 episodes, and it follows the relationships of young adults who are on the autism spectrum. And I promise you, it will leave you laughing, crying, cheering them on, giggling at some of their comments, but it's a fantastic one. All right, so it looks like we have everybody back. It is called Love on the Spectrum. And it's a short but sweet, sweet show. So my friends, you and I have been weathering the same storm the past few months. And so have our students. We are all, you know, I had said before we are all in the same boat, and that's not true. We're all in the same storm in our own boats and in our own circumstances. But I think it's important to validate our feelings and our emotions. And, you know, we do need to look at the social and emotional needs of our students, but also ourselves and those around us. So the district has put together some warning signs, and I'm going to take you straight to the staff warning signs. So if there's somebody out there who's needing a little extra help, or yourself, please check this out. It also has everything from pre-K all the way up through 12th grade. But like I said, today we're just going to call out that staff wellness warning. Come on, little guy. He does not want to open. But right here, this is a great guide to seeing how you're doing, how you're coping, what you can do to help yourself or others around you. Please reach out. Practice that mindfulness. I know that I've tried some new yoga workout routines, and it's been helpful. But please find. This will all be shared again at the end. So please make sure that you are looking at this, not only for your students, but for yourself as well. All right. Miss Ruth?
All right. So for our older kiddos, they're the 8th, we have a Google form that you will assign to them and they will fill out. When they fill it out, it gets sent to you. And from there, if you feel like it needs to be escalated, you can send it to your BIS or whoever else is on your school site. But it's basically just asking them how are they coping with stress. It asks them a few questions. It's like, did you play video games? Did you ignore it? Did you go to sleep? Did you try to see the positive side of things? They ask yes or no if they tried to do one of those things, and then how did it help? How did it go? So when they submit that, again, that is sent to you, and you can decide if you just keep it or if you send it to someone else on your team. For TK to second, we are going to check on our kiddos using classroom circles and Google Classroom. So that's how we will kind of assess how they're doing. So the older kids get the Google form, and the younger kids are going to be doing it in classroom circles.
Awesome, thank you. All right, moving forward. Oh, go ahead, Ruth.
All right, something that is amazing is the SEL team over at the district were awesome this summer. They were busy creating this website for us. So again, this is linked in the presentation we will give you at the very end, but this is a website that they've been working on. And when you scroll down to SEL, it gives you 10 weeks of instruction, 10 weeks of lesson plans for SEL. So it has TK a second, and it has all the different grades bands. So if you click on it, and like it talks about grief, friendship, emotions, you know, health and safety. So this is covered for those first 10 weeks. So you don't have to even worry about anything until week 11. And by then, we hope that you have enough of guidance to set you up for success. So these are virtual ways of teaching SEL, and it has Toolbox integration as well. So it was really awesome. Go ahead, Ms. Holly.
Oh, I'm trying to pull up an actual lesson plan just so that they can see it, but it's just taken a little time, so.
So embedded in all of these lessons are like online or virtual ways for the students to participate. There's read alouds, there's Google Slides on some of them. So if you look right here, that is what the lesson looks like. And again, they gave us 10 weeks of virtual lesson plans for SEL and Toolbox. I was really excited about that.
Because it gives you the learning intention, success criteria, it gives you that floor, that base, and then you can then go forward and create it and make it your very own for your class dynamics or for your personal comfort level. Yeah. But it's all there for you. So that's amazing.
Yes, a sigh of relief for that.
Exactly. And I do know that things are continually being added. So it will probably be even more than 10 weeks, but that is a lot of information that is right there at your fingertips. Besides the actual SEL lessons, we have an enhanced SEL website, which includes virtual resiliency journals, mindfulness activities, even a corner for parents. And that's really important, that parent corner up here. There's a special tab just for middle school children. There's a kids yoga. You know that we all get a little wiggly, us included. But my kinders, even probably your fourth graders, are going to enjoy some of these fun and silly activities. And you know, while we're virtually teaching, we're gonna have to just pull some of these out impromptu, and they're right there. We don't have to go searching for them. So these are links to everything. There's a lot of different options to look at, to find. All right. All right. So this is a great tool for us. This was around last year, but it wasn't widely distributed. And I'm so glad that the district has put this out for us. It is like a handy guide right at our fingertips on our computer. Everything you need to know for SEL, which includes mindfulness, classroom circles, social emotional learning, and now our Toolbox curriculum. So anything that you have questions on can be found within this. If you don't remember exactly how to start a classroom circle or what is a mindful moment, those are all in there for you. So please make sure you take a look at that, because it does offer a lot of support for teachers. So we know that we probably in the last couple of years have become really good and comfortable with mindfulness and circles in the classroom. I bet I could ask all of you to share an experience that was great where you with mindfulness or classroom circles, but now we're gonna have to do it virtually. And so this little link right here gives some tips for that. I'm also within this slide, Ruth and I have added some other ideas for you that you can use virtually. Literally just make a copy and they are yours. So before, during, and after on some of these, during our social emotional learning, there's some virtual tips that are highlighted in there. So don't forget about that. And then of course, we are all familiar with social contracts. So go ahead, Ruth.
So like every year that we do a physical social contract, we are going to do a virtual social contract. So for step one, we're reviewing what is a social contract. If you click that link, it just has a different Google Slides document, and it tells you what to read out to your kids, what is a social contract, what it means as a classroom. We give you a digital version, see that little digital version. We give you some examples of the physical versions that we would do when we were in class. But yeah, so that would be your first step, is just going over the social contract. You have your kids talk about these things, they discuss these things. And then step two is you actually use the social contract document that we made to create your own with your students. And you can get creative with it too online. You know, I'm sure you can make it really cute, just like we do in person. These are some examples. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So here are some examples. This is Ruth's room right here. And if you can see, she actually created an SEL wall. It's a little bit hard to see, and especially because I'm in present mode. But there are the emotions, there are the tools over there. And her social contract is hanging right here. For me in second grade, and I actually think that plan on doing a hard copy for my kindergartners so that I can have it right next to me as I am teaching virtually, will be something that still looks similar to this that we build together. But what we wanted to show you, for those of you who are comfortable with tech, or who are willing to explore, this upper left right here was created using Jamboard. All right, and Jamboard is the jam. It is a Google product. You will be being introduced to it in other sessions, but you simply share your Jamboard and then your students can put their additions with sticky notes. And that's how you would build that social emotional contract. Down here, as we are looking right here, this was done using a Google slide. And you would share that Google slide in your classroom with all of your students working on the same Google slide. And they could then add in their own words or how they want to be treated, or anything like that. They could even sign their name next to it so you knew exactly who was sharing that. And then you could put that out as a virtual social contract. And we'll show you another way in just a minute. All right. All right. So we are almost to the toolbox and beyond portion. And we want you to think of 2 questions and answer one of them in the chat box, okay? So based on the content that we have shared so far, what are you still wondering? Or what are you happy to hear that? Or 2, when your students return to your classroom, to school, what do you look forward to? All right, so we're gonna give you just a quick minute to add that to the chat down below. Answering one of those questions based on the content. What do you still wonder, or what are you happy to know? Or when you return to school? All right, I see Vanessa Castillo said, based on the content shared so far, oh, that wasn't, man, these are all just hopping around. She says, I'm happy to hear that social emotional learning is being implemented during this interesting time. And it is. For those of you who have been were at the town hall, you know that to our learning schedule throughout the day. And remember, SEL and Toolbox is not isolated. You need to intertwine it and embed it into the other curriculum throughout the day. Ramon said he's happy to hear that some important SEL elements can carry into the virtual format. Miranda, I'm happy to hear that you have created some lessons to help guide you. Yes. Cover from the guide. What is the, Heather, there is just some information about COVID in that SEL, which has obviously been added recently. So you'll have to get in there and check it out, and you will get a link to that. A lot of you are just looking forward to seeing your students. I love it. Relationships. I do want to share something really quick. Wow, there's a lot of great ones. And we do actually save these comments. I'm happy to hear we can use the Jamboard. Awesome. I'm excited that our district is keeping a focus on SEL during our virtual live video sessions. Awesome. I love it, friends. I want to share a quick story. Last night I was talking to a friend of mine who is teaching summer school right now. Kudos to her. And I wanted to just kind of get some ideas and hear how it was going. So I talked to her last night. And just like Mr. Lukey said, relationships are going to be vital and key, and those connections. She wanted me to know that in these 3 weeks that she has had with these students who she does not know, they're not from her school site, and she's only met them virtually and through phone calls and chats with their parents. But she wanted me to know that in that conversation last night, that relationships can be built just as strong virtually. And she got emotional, and I loved hearing that a student was struggling. They were doing a show and tell, and he didn't want to show and tell his plant. And she knew something was wrong because this whole time he'd been all excited and had been following the whole pattern that they'd been doing. And so she reached out to his mom after, and just in there, I think she was using Remind, and said, hey, what's going on with Matthias? And because they had already built some good communication in the last few weeks, the mom was able to share that the dad had just been diagnosed with COVID, and he was having to quarantine outside of the house. And so this little boy who's going into 3rd grade was really struggling. And that teacher, once she found that out, she asked if it was okay. She got the tools that she needed that were necessary to replant the plant. And with mom's permission, she ran it over to the house, socially distanced and with a mask. But she was so happy to be able to do that and to let that student know that she was thinking of them and that she wanted them to have another opportunity. And so I think it's really important. We did some distance learning this, in the spring, but it's the expectations and the accountability is much higher and different than it was before. But those relationships can be built. We may have to go outside of our comfort zone, and we may have to do things that we normally don't do, but we all know we can do hard things. And so just think of ways that you can build relationships with those students that will let them know that you care about them and appreciate them as, your, as a peer in the class. All right, sorry for that side note, but so we talked about that one of those core priorities was a student-centered school. And like I said, I really do believe that BCSD wants to educate the whole child. That really should be evidenced by the fact that SEL has been a major push and is not going by the wayside even during these virtual times. So self-awareness, helping our students know their strengths, finding that confidence, finding that voice, self-management, helping them control those impulses, manage stress, seeing when things are, getting out of their control and they might need help, relationships, being able to empathize with others. That's going to be a huge tool this year that we use. Empathy, looking at others' perspectives, and being able to be responsible decision makers. And we all know that 5-year-olds, 10-year-olds sometimes have a difficult time with that. But as we provide them with mindful moments and community circles, and that this SEL curriculum, this toolbox that we've been given, we will be able to help our students with those core priorities and helping them as learners, and in not just academic, but also in relationships and emotionally. So let's see, I think I moved something around here, but the benefits of Toolbox. I think you all could share the benefits that you have seen from your classroom using Toolbox. I am a believer. Ruth and I have drank the Kool-Aid. We really do see the benefits of this. It does support equity by fostering children's ability to manage their own emotional, social, and academic success. Right now, I'm in the middle of writing my master's thesis, and it just so happens to be on literacy instruction and incorporating that with social and emotional learning with read aloud. And I can tell you, and you all know, that academic success cannot come about unless we are meeting the needs of our students. And that I've just been constantly reminded of that as I've been reading and diving into that work. Toolbox helps survivors of trauma, violence, and ACEs by building those tools within them. They have those tools, that resiliency, that perseverance, encompassing all SEL competencies. It creates a common language. Ruth had a student who came from another school within our district, and that student had been using Toolbox on her campus, in her classroom. So when she made that scary change to come over to a new school, right away, you saw that they too use Toolbox. They too were talking about the listening tool and the breathing tool. And so she really felt like she just kind of settled in a little bit faster. And I can tell you that Toolbox helps students in all aspects of life. I believe that it has helped me as a wife, a mom, a friend, and a teacher. It's made you be more cognizant and aware and patient. And so the Toolbox has many benefits. We just have to make sure that our students know that those tools are within them so that they can hone those skills and enhance them. All right, Ruth, I'm gonna let you share this one.
All righty. So if you've taught Toolbox before, you've recognized these images. The first one down on the left, on the bottom, is the manila toolbox that I believe Kate at second received. We personalized them. I put my first name on one side, and then I drew a picture of my quiet, safe place on the other side. I had my students do the same. The next to it is the cardstock tools, which I don't have in front of me, but I know Ms. Holliday has them, where we would color them in and personalize them. In my classroom, we also hole punched every single one of them, and I got them lanyards, and we put all of ours on lanyards. So my students ran around my classroom with their Toolbox lanyards. Next to that is our fan deck. I know that I've heard a few of you guys say that you guys would put on each tool as you guys taught it. So when you guys would teach a tool, you would put a new one on your fan deck. At my school at Williams, our yard aides had them, CPALs, literally every staff had them, and we wore them at all times. So the students could come up and see that similarities throughout our school. Next to that is the 12 tools poster. That was the one I put on my SEL board. Any single time I was teaching the tool, I could highlight one of them. They do go in order of when we should teach them as well. So it's just a really handy tool. That was the one that my new student would point at and be like, hey, we have this in my old classroom. And then above that is the primer, which I loved because when I was new, I did not know what I was supposed to do, but that literally had word for word everything I was supposed to do. Super helpful. And then the emotions posters. The top one is K to second, and the bottom one is third and up. The top one is the one with the handprints. It has a little bit less emotions, but when we're teaching feelings and emotions, I would reference that. It's more than just mad, sad, glad. That's all they could name in the beginning of the year. You know, what are some emotions? Mad, sad, glad. And so we were able to teach frustration, stress, feeling secure, feeling loved, feeling excited, feeling shy. So we really use that a lot when I would teach emotions, and I would often teach an emotion with one of my tools. And the bottom one is for the upper grades, and they obviously have a lot more emotions on theirs as well. Something really cool is you guys should have all received an email on the 23rd. I think the title said info email. Check your Barracuda. It might have went to spam, but it was from the Toolbox project. And if we click that portal access, it has all of this stuff online. I think we have to log in, but it has all of this stuff online. You should have all received that email. Make sure you have it and double check, but it was sent on the 23rd. So this has every single thing I just briefly went over online, where you can log in and print things. But this is from the actual Toolbox project.
And I would like to add on to that all of these things are PDFs. And so what I have done in last year was I downloaded all of this to my Google Drive, so I had it quick and easy, and then I could just, like when I was teaching a new tool for the, a new tool, I would introduce it to my students. I would also introduce it to my families and send it home on the newsletter, on your class dojo or class tag. So get around inside this portal and really check it out, because it is a fantastic way to access that materials and get it out to your parents, because there's parent letters, like letters to send to parents to explain it, but you can always make things your own. I'd always take like little bits and pieces and then add it. But that portal will be, it's also where you can get hard copies of things if you need. For example, this 12 tools poster right here, this 12 tools poster, you all know that it's large. We put it up somewhere in our classroom, where we can access it. I put a big arrow on whichever one we're working on for the time being, but you can also print out smaller ones, and I have those over in our guided reading area or in the library or where my STEM bins are for my students, so that they have easy access, and it's just a good reminder for them. So we're gonna go over a couple of things. Hopefully you guys are, again, looking forward to getting this slide presentation at the very end, because there are, as you can see, there are lots of links within them and things for you to be able to look at. We have a couple questions on here. One, I wanted to, Teresa McKay mentioned that virtual learning allows us to also build relationships with the families. And you are right. Sometimes we may not meet families in the classroom setting because the parents don't come, they're not available, or we can't ever get a hold of them. But in the virtual setting, you are going to see what is going on. We're basically being invited into all of our students' homes. So take that as an honor and an opportunity to build those relationships. Says, will we get a set to use this year with the students so we can send them home? Friends, we know that they are putting together a take home for each grade level, whiteboard, pencils, things like that. We do not know that if we know we are not getting 2 sets of the Toolbox curriculum. So for my friend, let's see, where was it? Amy Hansen, what you can do is if you really want to send something home to your students at home for this virtual time, I would use the online portal. You could create, you can shrink things down, make smaller lanyards on that poster. You could do it a half sheet. You can send those home. I know nothing has been, no final negotiations or whatever with beta, but I know it has been mentioned that we would be meeting in socially distanced ways our students at in our classrooms to hand over all of their items. My plan is to put together my welcome packet just like I would if we were in the classroom, and put some of this information in there, a poster, maybe for my kinders, some coloring pages that they could do for these. I'm gonna pause my screen really quick. Hopefully you can see this. So this is an example of me. I saved this PDF in my Google Drive, and then I was able to print them out. So if I needed extra ones, there's the front of the patient's card. Sorry, you can't see that. And then on the back, I would be able to make this copy that talks about the patient's tool. All right, so that's kind of how I use that online portal. I really do use it to get more access to things. All right, the Toolbox bulletin board on page 101. You are right, it is virtual, Heather, and we are gonna get it. We're gonna get there right now. So Heather's looking at that and she sees that there's a link, and let me zoom my sharing. All right. We told you were gonna walk away with some great things to add to your SEL tool belt. We're not in our classroom, so this is the next best thing, creating a virtual bulletin board. What I love about this is it has the tools, all of the tools on there. You could highlight which one you're working on. Here's your feelings. But this right here, tool of the week. All right, we're working on breathing tool. Okay, there's the icon. But on this next slide, when it's time to work on the listening tool, you're gonna be able to just slide that on up and bring that over. Now remember, make a copy. Once you make a copy, it becomes yours. You can do with it what you want. We've had some other things that we thought could go in here. If you want to have a caring circle, you could also have a friendship circle, a gratitude circle. Guess what? It's really easy to do, friends. As you make this your own, you can then come up to, oh, I can't do it right now because it's not, I haven't made my own copy, but you could create another circle and you fill it in with the color and put the new word in there. Another thing that we heard a teacher give is you can actually put the question of the morning, your welcome question, or your classroom circle question right there. So many things that you can do with this as long as you make a copy. And again, there are some videos of students using these tools and showing the gestures so that you can share them with your students. So yes, that is. Now I'm going to show you one other amazing thing that the SEL team has put together for you. And it's all 12 tools together in one slideshow. This is something that you could throw up on your, your whiteboard, your computer screen, but it's also something that you could share with your families. You can always make a copy and share even just one, just the slide you're working on for that time. But all of them look the same, so the consistency is great. It shows the icon, it shows the tool name, it shows the tagline, and every tool has those. It gives a little background on the icon, why they use that, and also it gives you a quick overview of how to do the hand gesture. Now, friends, you have been acquainted with these tools. So you know it, you know the gestures that go with them, but I will tell you that we are working on a video of our own BCSD teachers to create a video with all 12 tools and the hand gestures so that you have something to reference back on. So, and go ahead, Miss Ruth, the next two are yours.
Somebody asked if we have these in Spanish.
Yes, thank you, Miss Gupton. It is in Spanish. I do know that the materials are being sent or delivered last week and this week to school sites. You will be able to pick them up at your school site. And for those schools who have dual immersion or others, those are available. I will tell you though, it's all available in English and Spanish on the portal, okay? So if for some reason your school does not get them in Spanish because that was not something that they asked for, you still have it on the portal in Spanish, all right?
All right, so I'm gonna go over the toolbox at a glance. If you taught Toolbox last year, you probably have already seen this, but it's our guideline of how our pacing is going to go. So week 1, create a Toolbox bulletin board. Week 2, introduce Toolbox. And from there on, it goes about a week or 3 weeks. And we're going to be doing something called Toolbox Tuesday, which we should be getting more information like later on. But we're all going to do this together, and we're all going to be uniform in the fact that we're going to do this on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, create a Toolbox bulletin board. The next Tuesday, introduce the toolbox and the 12 tools. The next Tuesday after that, make tools concrete. So that's what you guys should be prepared for, is teaching this on our Toolbox Tuesday. Of course, you can implement throughout your lesson plan, but that's kind of what we have set in stone.
I love the fact that that we're going to be, as a district, I was the only one at my school for a couple of years that taught Toolbox. Last year, all of you wonderful TK and kinder teachers got to roll it out. But for a long time, I was by myself. And so I wore my lanyard, my students had their things, but it wasn't that common language or that unity. And I am so excited that my school, everyone will have them this year. We will all be working towards that same goal and having those tools. Like she said, even our extended learning program, our CPALs, our BIS, they will have those. They will be using those in their interactions. And so that's so very important. All right. So here, I'm talking about your toolbox being concrete. Since we are talking about beyond, one thing that I did to go beyond after I did not do this my first year, my second year. And then as I was thinking about it, I really thought, carpentry and toolboxes are not that well known. And an actual toolbox, I don't know if I think I saw him in the, like in those 80s sitcoms, you know, the guy who was fixing the apartment complex or whatever, carried his toolbox, but I needed to bring it to life. And once I did that, it really solidified for my students what these tools were, what they were really used for in the carpentry world, and how they were implemented as our social and emotional toolbox. So this is just a snippet. I'm going to pause my sharing. Hold on. Does not want to let me let it go. Hopefully, can y'all see me? Ruth, can you see me? So
I can see you.
here's my toolbox right here. Again, this is a beyond idea, okay? 3 years ago, after I taught this for a couple of years, I thought, I'm gonna get the box. I got it from IKEA, it was brown. That was it. I added a couple of tools in there. The next year, last year, I decided I was gonna paint it, I was gonna spice it up. And this toolbox actually sits in my classroom where it is accessible to all of my students. So that once a tool is introduced, modeled, and acquainted for all of my students, they have access to this toolbox. Within that toolbox, I only put the tools that they have been introduced to. So not all of the tools are in there all at the same time. Okay, I also include in there a lanyard with the tools and what they're for, those colored fan deck. Again, only the tools that have been introduced in our classroom, okay? But those items, most of them came from the Dollar Tree. Come on, teachers, use the Dollar Tree. But look around your house, your dad's garage, the Goodwill, you name it, you can find it. I do have all 12 of the tools, but again, only the tools that I've introduced go in there. One other thing that I would like to share is that, I'm trying to, okay, there we go, we got it. Is that, and now I just lost my train of thought. Oh, yes, Ruth is correct. We do have, the way that the founder Mark created this is so that these all are in a sequential order. They build upon one another. But I'm going to tell you something, friends, and this is for you beyond, okay? You know your students, once we get into our virtual learning, you know yourself, your comfort level. Those first 3 tools up there, breathing, quiet, safe, listening, those are the gateway tools. Those 3 tools are non-negotiable. Those need to be taught first. But from there, yes, there is a pacing guide. And yes, there is a primer that has, you know, step by step. But if you need to pull, I can tell you a couple years ago, I needed to pull that garbage can tool up before I did the empathy tool because they would not let it go. Then a couple of years later, that apology and forgiveness is down there at the bottom, but I had to pull it up closer to the top because those students needed a little bit more help on apology and forgiveness. Or maybe it was me, I don't know. But see, you just have to go with the flow. Make it your own, all right? So here's what we're gonna do. We are gonna we're gonna tell you our 2 favorite tools. And then we're gonna put you back into those breakout rooms. And we want you to share in some of the learning and the beyonds that you've thought about for this coming year. And when we're done, one person from your group is going to need to share out at least one thing, all right? So if everybody can take a look at this, as we put you into your family groups, discuss how you plan to use Toolbox this year, okay? There's 3 ideas. Tips for how you're gonna take it beyond. How are you going to embed it within academics? And how are you going to implement engagement strategies to teach in a virtual environment, which is where we currently are, all right? So be prepared to have one reporter from each group share out. But first, Ruth is gonna share with you her favorite. I think, Ruth, I need to go a couple more.
There we
Yeah,
go.
there, Ruth?
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
All right. So my favorite tool, and I love to use it throughout the day, was the patience tool. My kiddos got a lot of experience with that tool. If we were waiting in line to go to lunch and they were being a little bit squirrely, I would just use my tool. I would use my patience tool, and they would say, Miss March is using her patience tool, get in line, you know. I used it so much that they took ownership of their own over that tool. And if somebody was wanting something they had and they were like, hurry up with the red pencil, they would go, use your patience tool, I'm almost done, you know. So I love that one, because there's people who say, I don't know when to teach Toolbox. I don't know what point in the day I'm supposed to teach Toolbox or when I'm supposed to use the tools. I used the patience tool from morning until they left. It was throughout the day. So, and they started using it, and that was the best. When they started using it, that was a game changer for me. So that's why I love the patience tool.
All right. And so she wanted me to show you this. I do have a wood planer. I just got this at Home Depot, nothing special. This was maybe my most expensive tool, but it was still under $10. And I can tell you, this is the one tool that I do not leave accessible for my students. But I was just told last time that there may be a way to take this sharp edge off or just bind it. But I will tell you that the second year I taught this, I showed a video of Japanese woodworkers in their art. And it was amazing. The children were mesmerized by the video of these Japanese men and the slow methodic movements that they were making and the thin pieces of wood. So then the next year when I got this tool, I actually brought it in and showed it, because you slide it back and forth. I actually brought in a piece of wood, and I showed my students that it took long and patient strokes to shave that wood off. I also showed them when I wasn't patient and I just was doing it, it actually took nicks out of the wood and it ruined that piece of wood. And so that was really important for them to see that in action. Now, my favorite tool, I have a couple, but my favorite tool is the empathy tool. And I can tell you right now that students, that little people, younger people, have much more empathy than us adults. And I readily admitted that to my students. And I told them, friends, you have so much empathy in your heart. So much more than us grown-ups. But I love this tool. This level right here, you know how this works. But for students to see that level at work, how it can be unbalanced with just the slightness of being off, they really understood. And but I also love just the actual, hand gesture of being balanced, caring for yourself and for others. And that is so important. And I think, like we said earlier, it's going to be important for us as we navigate this year learning. And so we invite you to really use that tool whenever you can. So friends, we're going to put you into some breakout groups. We're going to actually give you a little bit more time because we do know that we do want you to share and learn from one another. So again, as you discuss, how are you going to take Toolbox beyond? Okay, tips for taking tools beyond, embedding within academics, and engagement strategies to teach in a virtual environment. And remember, you are going to be coming back, and one of you has to report out to the rest of us so that we can all grow and learn together. All right, so we're going to give you 10 minutes. Please dig in, really talk with one another. All right, so 10 minutes. Go ahead and make sure that you're joining those rooms. I see two friends who are not.
I have 4. I have Susie, Brittany, Mr. Lopez again. Mr. Lopez, I'm going to get you when I see you. Are you guys having a hard time making it to your breakout?
I wasn't sent to one. Carissa, you were, so let's see, let's go to breakout. I'm gonna send you to room 3, okay?
Brittany, are you having a hard time making it to your breakout?
Whoops. I'm not sure. It's not letting me.
Brittany, I sent you a message privately. Mr. Lopez has been having a hard time all day. He's at my school. He's been in and out. I think his phone is being weird and his computer's being weird.
Oh, okay.
But,
okay.
Yeah. I know he's been in here though. He might be in the breakout session on his computer because I think he joined twice. He's on his phone and his computer now. So.
And I do know that myself, I'm listed twice because I'm on my phone too, so.
I wish we could force them into a breakout. That's not because of the adults, but because of the students. Like,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oops. I think this will be good for them to have the opportunity to.
So what slide is after this one, Ms. Holliday?
So we're actually, wow, are we almost done? Shoot.
What did we cut out? Oh, we didn't go over all the tools.
Yeah, we didn't go over all the tools. But wait a second, though. We're going to have them share out. So that will take time. That will take time.
Yeah.
When we come back, I'm just going to leave it on here.
Yeah.
And this is where I was going to go in and share the, like, the slides, projects, the read aloud, songs, games, videos.
Okay.
Whatever in there. So, but yeah, it will take us time for them to share. So that should be a good thing for them, beneficial for them, I guess I should say.
I know, right after this one, I have my tech training.
Okay, feel free to jump out. You're good.
Fine, I'm gonna join on my phone.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna, yeah, so I can be there on time.
Are you doing the expanding one?
Yeah.
That's the one I took right after our 8 o'clock session. And actually, you probably already know everything in there.
Really? That's what I was worried about.
Yeah.
We had to take that exam, the Google exam.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so easy, and I passed right away. And then so many people at my school all failed it, and I was like,
I know.
I didn't even take the modules. I didn't even read them. I was like, I know technology. I didn't even read them, and so my Apple was like, "How did you pass?" And I was like, "I don't know. I like technology, and I do it on my free time." So
yeah, you dig in, you find out things. But Chris did. We did do. We did do Google Sites. We started actually the last part to do Google Sites, and I had done that once before, but it was good to go over it because I think it is something that I'm going to use because I'm teaching the kinders.
Yeah.
So that it'll be kind of like a resource for parents.
Yeah.
Kind of just everything all in one. Like I already set up. Let's see if I can show it to you. I mean, literally just during that one presentation with him, we set, and they only did like one thing. Oh, that's not what I wanted. There it is.
And I'm worried like the majority of it is going to be review that I already know, which is fine, because some people need it,
but I mean, I bet because they can't get into our Google Classroom, the parents can't.
Right.
And so I just started really simple, just adding things to it. Like an about me page. Here's where I was going to put like our rules, like embed the rules. The buzz will be like our newsletter. I mean, just there's a few more pages, but it was pretty easy to do. It was good to sit there for that time and have the chance to do it. Anyway, you'll find that helpful probably. And not that I didn't know how to do it, but it was just like, oh yeah, doing it.
Yeah.
So,
somebody asked in the chat, it was actually the girl, she's not a girl, she's a lady, the lady at my school. She teaches TK. She says TK is not getting Chromebooks.
Oh, I don't know. Why?
I don't know. I was talking to her privately because she was like, "Hi, Ruthie," and I was like, "Hi," and then she's like, "Is this for TK?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think it's for all grades." And she's like, "You're not getting Chromebooks," and I was like, "Is that true?" I don't know if it's true.
I don't know if that's true because I was told that all students were getting them. So
I thought too. I told her just to ask our principal, Dr. Frias. I was like, just ask Dr. Frias because I'm not sure. But yeah, sometimes they have questions and I'm like, I don't know.
You're like, I'm not sure.
We have somebody that just popped back in. It looks like. How much time do we have left?
Before we have 2 minutes until breakouts end. Maybe we just do breakout room 1 first.
Okay, we'll go through that.
I'll just go that way.
when you do the breakout, do you have the list of all the names of the people in that breakout?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, cool.
So I'll just keep it up and I'll just say, all right, breakout room 1, I think that'll probably be the best.
Yep. Cool.
I know who's in there. Looks like a few people have joined us, joined back with us.
It's that same breakout room.
The efficient team.
Kimberly's face. She looks so suspicious.
That
breakout, was it 8? They're gonna have the best. They're gonna have the best answers.
All right, maybe we'll have 8 go first.
Thank you for acknowledging, because 8 totally got back on time this time.
Got it. All right, so 8. We are going to have you share out first. So whoever is in room 8, who was the reporter, if you'll please unmute and hopefully put yourself on video as well, if you feel comfortable. All right. So we're gonna go to room 8 first, and then we'll go we'll start up with group 1 and then work our way down. All right. So group 8, give us about 5 seconds, and then we're gonna let you report out. Okay. Group 8, who's gonna be the reporter from group 8?
Hi, it's Monica Fernetovich from Group 8. I need to re-download the app. I've done video like 3 times and it keeps being weird. So I'm sorry, I'm gone. But
right,
I wanted to share what we discussed. One of the things that I shared was my Bitmoji classroom is under construction. I'm changing it up from the end of last school year. And one of the things that I'm adding, instead of a poster with a live link, is an entire room connected to that poster. So it's an SEL room. Yeah. It has all the Toolbox posters that we need. It also has extra activities, say something you can click on and watch things fall, that it's very calming, something to help you with the time needed to do the breathing. So it's got its own space, because we're in a world that SEL needs its own space. But we also talked about how it's integrated in everything we do every day, and it comes up kind of organically, whether it's a child trying to do self-regulation or a child pointing out that adults need it too, which is completely true. So the last point we had was our students are amazing, and when we give them the opportunity to surprise us with the depth of their learning in SEL, they will absolutely rise to that occasion and surprise us.
I love it. Group 8, round of applause for you ladies. I think it was all efficient. I love it. I love the fact that you said that, you know, our students do have these within them, and we just have to recognize them and encourage them. So anything that you want to share, please, you can send it. You can send it to my email, and we will, because there's a spot on the SEL or on the actual DFP website where there are opportunities for teacher share outs. All right. So if you want to share something with me, and then we can get that up on a page. All right. Love it. All right. Group 1, Jamie, Ken, Lori, Mercedes, Shannon. Who's going to be your reporter? Don't all jump out at once.
I can share. This is Lori.
Hi, Lori.
Hi. An idea that I had, but now I'm thinking that it would have been great for my 5th grade class last year is after implementing, teaching a specific strategy or tool from the toolbox, maybe having the kids do breakout sessions where they create a little skit, implementing it, kind of like how we've done at least on our school site, where the teachers go and do skits, kind of showing it, that tool being used. So I thought that might be, or even showing how it shouldn't be used, or what kind of situation you might need it in. So
I love it. So getting the students involved. Great. All right. I love that. Room 2, Jennifer, Kendra, Nicole, and Ramon. Who is going to share with us in this room? Breakout room 2. Jennifer, Kendra, Nicole, and Ramon.
I can share something that
All right. Thanks, Kendra.
something that I did this last year to kind of to take it beyond. You were talking about your little toolbox on your desk, and I was just explaining that I found a really cute little toolbox at TJ Maxx, and it was only $7. And it was those old-fashioned kinds with like Fisher Price, the little tool set that where they had that little hammer and you pounded the pegs down, you know. And I had kindergarten. So besides the one with the hammer and the pegs, they actually had a really cute solid wooden red and blue painted toolbox with wooden tools in it. They had a screwdriver and a little wrench and a hammer. So my kids played with blocks and Legos and all that kind of good stuff. So when they had the wooden blocks out, I had 2 toolbox kits up there, and they got to take them and make them their own. They didn't just have to look at it, you know, for me showing it to them. They got to actually utilize it. So they take the tools out and they crank them on the wooden blocks and pound them with their little hammers. And I have videos of them doing that. So it made it very concrete for them, which was really taking it beyond. And I would plan to use that again in person this year if we do get to go back in person. As far as for me, for virtual, I'm not sure what's going to happen with us, because we were sent an email that first grade and above was going to be a virtual learning. So I don't know what's going to happen with kindergarten and TK.
Okay, well, I'm a kinder teacher, and I'm pretty sure we're getting them. So don't you fret. Just think positive.
Okay, yeah. Well, you know, I mean, the TK 4-year-old kids they don't even access Chromebooks. So if we do that, it would just be all the parents doing it for them. Yeah. So that we've kind of been told we would have to be teaching the parents and having the parents do it. So that's what it's going to look like for us. I'm not sure how that's going to happen.
All right. Well, great idea of bringing in some tools. I know at Target, as I was preparing before all of this started, I did purchase some of their wood tools. They're like in the $3 spot, $5 spot for that play area for my kinders. And they actually had those different things. So great idea. All right, breakout room 3, Brittany, Carissa, Luce, Morgan, Miss Jones, and Miss Gupton.
Okay, so in breakout room 3, we did talk about, you know, how it's kind of going to be a hit and miss process trying to do this virtually. And one way we could kind of have our students take over the learning is have them do a flip grid. Discussing, you know, a situation of where they would need to use that tool, or, you know, how they would use that tool, you know, in different situations to get them talking and have them take over the learning.
Love it. Employing all the different things that we've already introduced to our students and that are great for the virtual learning. So awesome. Flipgrid, shout out. All right, breakout room 4, Debbie, Derek, Lori, Melissa, and Tanisha. Who's going to share out for us in room 4? Uh-oh. Room 4. I have Debbie, Petrini, Derek, Lori, Melissa, and Tanisha.
I'll speak for us. We talked about we first tried to see if anybody had taught during summer school, see if they had any insight about how it was going. But we talked about how we thought that using the toolbox would be helpful, having that realia so that they could actually see it. We really liked that idea and implementing that. We also we had a couple coaches in our group, and they were asking about like how they could support teachers. And we talked about how they could send an email or something to kind of remind the teachers on Monday and kind of give them some pointers, as well as maybe make videos. I know Melissa is Spanish speaking, so maybe if she made a video for that was in Spanish, since some of the current videos aren't in Spanish. So we were just kind of
brainstorming about how we thought these would work, but we mostly talked about how using that toolbox and having those tools would really help solidify what we were talking about.
Awesome. All right, so a lot of you are going to be hitting up the Dollar Tree and Home Depot. I can tell you they actually had, it was yellow and black, and it closed, it latched and everything for $1. It was a yellow and black toolbox at Dollar Tree. I actually bought one last year for another teacher who was starting out using Toolbox, but I'm pretty sure I saw them recently. So, all right, thank you, group 4. Breakout room 5, Amy, Sandra, Susie, Valentina. Who's gonna share their beyond ideas? Okay, we still have 5, 6, 7, 9.
Yeah, because 8 was very efficient.
Yes, they were efficient. They were on it.
That's my favorite group.
I know, they were just on it. All right, Amy, Sandra, Susie, Valentina, and Vanessa. Something that you look forward to using this year that was beyond what you did this past year.
I guess I'll share. So I'm a speech therapist, so some of these things some of the things that I thought would be cool to just kind of redirect and get their focus is like the breathing one that I liked, and then also we talked about the patience tool, but as far as implementing it, that's where we were kind of talking about doing it, like as a teacher, they were talking about implementing it during the school day, at the beginning of the school day, and then even towards the end to just kind of come back and, ask the students if they utilized any of the tools during their school day and that sort of thing, just to get them thinking about, if to use them more often and that sort of thing.
I love that. Giving them, because we want them to have ownership. We want them to know that they have these tools within themselves. And like you said, asking those students simply, what tool did you use today? Where were you when you used that tool? How did you use that tool? Really can be powerful because it's coming from the students and they're sharing and their experiences. So awesome. And I love the fact that even as a speech pathologist, you can use these and you can be on the same page with the other teachers on campus. All right, breakout room 6, Irene, Kelly, Rosa, and Teresa.
Hi there. I think in our group, we were all teachers of kinder, I believe, and I think we had a first grade. Yeah, that was kind of nice. We were talking about social stories, and if we're having to do this online, what I started doing at the end of spring is I would put a Zoom class together and I would do a screen share and I would show the calendar and we would all do the calendar together as a class. And so I could do something like that to where we're like, okay, we could do a social story. Once we watch it, then we put the poster up with all those different emotions and pointing them out, because that's actually what I did in class.
Love it.
Where like when one of my students would start to cry and when another student would be like, oh, and he'll point at the picture and say, oh, so-and-so, he's sad. And they can identify their friend's emotions. So how I'm going to do that virtually, I'm not sure, but I know to begin with doing a social story, and if the district actually provides our parents with the resources of each individual picture, like something tangible that the child can touch from home, because we're going to be working a lot with our parents. Our students are not just going to sit and do this on their own. So if the parents have something tangible to help the child be able to touch it at home, not just on the screen, but just showing them those pictures and talking.
Very true. And that's a huge beyond, Teresa. Those stories, those read alouds, because I know that as a second grade teacher, I use read alouds all the time. And I try to make sure I got the most bang for my buck. So I was trying to incorporate my ELA skill along with that toolbox and making sure I had the fiction and the nonfiction characters. So really, your read alouds are a great opportunity and to bring out those emotions. And again, there's more than just happy, sad, mad, right?
Right.
And it would be helpful if, you know, I don't know how many of this much material will go home, but hopefully, you know, maybe your kinder team can, you know, come up with a small poster or something that you could put out there to those families so that they would have that there so that child could see it. Great. All right. Breakout 7. Ashley, Elizabeth, Francisco, Heather, Miranda, and Valerie. So who is going to share from breakout 7?
This is Francisco. I can share. Can you give me a thumbs up, Stephanie? You can hear me because I've been having some issues with my audio.
You are good.
Okay, perfect.
Francisco.
Okay. We were just discussing as a team in regards about the opportunity of using it in the read aloud, and you just hit on all the aspects that that I was going to share. But anyhow, when those characters come up in the read aloud, we're able to come up with whatever item of the toolbox that parallels with that situation or that character, and we're able to move forward. But also with real life characters in our house, taking it beyond where we could address the different toolbox aspects with our mom, our dad, brother, or sister, whatever situations come up at home, and we could model it here virtually with our students as well. And I know that right now, currently, I'm teaching a migrant class virtually, and many times I have to use different parts of the toolbox just to get them together with me, because as we know, it's hard to manage a student when they're in their home. There's a lot of distractions going on, and here's an opportunity to do that. Everything from you know, the patience tool. We got to just be, you know, they have to be patient with us, and also the empathetic tool, which I used a lot in my classroom last year, where to be empathetic to us as teachers. That's taking it beyond, because a lot of our students, they catch us when we're trying to get them to listen to us, and they know that we're doing it with a lot of patience, and many times there's 3 or 4 students who are just challenging us. But if we show them the empathetic signal, then they're able to be more empathetic towards us, because, you know, 99% of the time we're using the tools for them. Well, how about us? We need some support for us as well. I mean, because we are human beings. And I know for myself, I started losing my voice halfway through the year. And geez, I think as teachers we need to use our voice. Do we all agree on that?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think it's important that these tools are just as beneficial, that you, like you said, as for our students as they are for us. All right, our last room, Anna, Christina, Leslie, and Maria. Who's going to share out from that breakout group?
I'm sharing for us today. So basically everything everyone said was, it already hit on what we were going to share. Just something else about Beyond, we love the Flipgrid video idea. Anna shared that with us, and after you teach a tool, having them, you know, create a Flipgrid, sharing it with the group. Also, because sometimes kids can't really connect with some of those pictures, especially like the wood planer, to show a video explaining each tool and giving them that visual, you know, like your toolbox does for them as well. And then, and I just love that Flipgrid is, you know, it can be used TK and on. So there's no age limit with Flipgrids. And that's why I love that idea so much. And then maybe with older kids, they could create like a Google Slides presentation, maybe work in a group or something, you know, create a circle map of the different pictures or words that associate with each tool.
Yeah, thank you so much. Oh, I love all of this. And so a couple of things that I've done I've used that have not been in the primer or in our lesson plans before. You guys mentioned the Flipgrid. You mentioned a group project, and that's something that I've had my students do, break them into small groups. Now, this was in class, but because if you're using Flipgrid or Google Slides, it could easily be done if they're sharing those same slides If you want them to learn about the empathy tool, giving them that tool and giving them a few parameters, and then them being able to put a slideshow together that includes music, videos, activities. Another thing that that I have down is having your families get into this, because we're going to be part of those families. We're invited into their homes, maybe taking pictures or a video, having our students teaching their families about these tools, and then they get to kind of be the teachers, and they love that in all grade levels. Something else that I really worked on past my first year, once I felt a little more comfortable, was embedding this in social emotional learning into my PE time, and talking about, you know, teamwork and listening and the apology and forgiveness when we get into those, you know, issues, but also some really good games. There's games and activities that go with these tools. And all I simply did was go in and do Google searches or go onto different websites and find resources. And a lot of them, some of them I didn't even keep, like I'd use it and then the next year I'd be like, where was that? So I probably need to be better at that. But really going out there and just looking outside of the box. I found songs, music can help students connect so well. Videos, there are videos of students sharing about walking a mile in someone else's shoes. I showed a video a couple of years ago. I did this whole thing about empathy, and it was a traveling museum of just shoes. There was really no words with it. And at first I thought, how is this going to impact my second graders? But them taking that virtual tour in that museum of just people's shoes, there were shoes that were fancy and pretty, and there were shoes that that had been worn for years, and shoes that were working shoes, all these different shoes. And it really got us thinking about how the other people out there and how we have to think about them. Again, read alouds, so much that can be done with the read alouds. Even in math, you can incorporate this, I promise. The different tools. You're gonna have to have the listening tool. You have to have the, the let it go tool, all of those things. But there are so many things that you can do beyond what is in that primer. This is just, again, a reminder that we have the primer, we have that portal. That primer actually has some straight things that you can do. Remember, you all were fantastic about talking about taking it, not just isolating it in the beginning of the morning during your mindful moment, but embedding it throughout the whole day. A teacher earlier this morning shared with us, and I've seen this, but I liked how she put this. She's a 6th grade teacher for the deaf and hard of hearing, and they came up with 5 things. And I loved this because our students, they want to keep us accountable, and they love structure, and they love consistency. So get your paper and pen ready that you had for that pig. I'm going to give you 5 things, and I actually am going to use this because I loved the way she talked about them. Mindful Monday. So having a mindful Monday, and however that looks like. Toolbox Tuesday, which is what our whole district is doing this year, where we're just talking about Toolbox. What's Up Wednesdays, which is where you would have your social circles, your classroom circles. Maybe there's a question that you were going to ask. Your Thoughtful Thursday, and during that was an opportunity to work on growth mindset, positive thinking, as well as gratitude. And Friendship Friday, I loved this. Talking about maybe having an activity where you play with another friend. Like we would do STEM activities on Fridays, and maybe that's where you had to work with a different person. Different icebreaker games. Talking about what makes a good friend. Reading a story about a read aloud that had a good example of a friend in there. So I loved that. It's something that I'm going to definitely take and borrow. And so before we let you go, we wanted to leave you with some virtual tools as well. And so this right here, there's a link. Do not worry. There's a link to this. And once you go to that link, it will force a copy. But this is actually an interactive emoji check-in that one of my friends made. And students can actually click on it and they can scoot over. So if they're feeling silly on day 3, they can scoot that over. They can also over here either type or use the voice typing tools to explain how you feel. And we're not showing this because we don't have the time, but this link is here, so please look into that. This right here, we talked about Jamboard earlier. This is a link that has about 10 different activities for you. And you simply have to go in and copy and make them yours. And this is very new. This was just updated a couple weeks ago. And if you can see, there's a thumbs up and a thumbs down. Those are easy to do visually. The fist to 5. How are you feeling today? A check-in. 4 corners. So having your students, put on the actual Jamboard where, their choice is. And then they can work with that group, or they can see if they're, feeling the same as that. And so there's 10 different things right there for you. And the link is there. And then finally, something that was done from our SEL team is virtual circle prompts to go with that virtual toolbox bulletin and the slides with all the tools on them. This, again, make a copy and it becomes yours, and you can enhance or delete, create new things. But right here, there's almost 30 days worth of virtual tips. And again, make a copy. You can throw some out, make some different ones, but this is just a starting point. All right. So friends, we are so glad that you spent the last couple hours with us. And we hope that you renewed your passion for Toolbox and see how you're going to implement it beyond and in a virtual atmosphere. And we have 2 things that you need before you can exit. All right. We're going to be giving you 2 links. One is the valuation. One is the sign out, which is how you get paid. And Ruth has dropped those in the chat box.
I've also put
the presentation. So she has put 3 links in there.
Presentation is requiring access.
Well, that is strange because I know why, Ruth, because we changed some things really quick. So I will fix that. Yeah, we have been tweaking this definitely on feedback.
Whenever we get evals, we update and change our thing to make it better for you guys. So, but yeah, don't forget the presentation link is in there.
And you should have access now.
You should have access now. So Sandra, try again. Let me know if you still can't get in there. And then I do have the eval and the sign out of both linked. So make sure you finish both of those. I did take attendance as well, but you still need to do both of those.
Christina,
Ruth,
like those ideas.
Ruthie, this is Mr. Lopez. Hey, do me a favor. Can you email it to me? For some reason, I can't get it either.
For the presentation?
Ruth, were you, Miss March, were you able to hear me?
Yeah.
All right, both of your sounds are off. So friends, everybody, once you have done your evaluation and your sign out, you are free to go. We will cut you loose. If you have any questions, feel free to stay on. And again, there are lots of links within this presentation. So make a copy and dig in. And we look forward to learning more from you as you share throughout the year. So Toolbox and beyond.
I was trying to ask Miss March if you can email me the sign out and the evaluation. I can get it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you. The sign
Thank
out
you
and
for leading this, ladies. Have a good day.
thank you. That's interesting because
I'm emailing them. It's just taking me a little bit. My internet's really slow.
that's okay. No, but the sign out should be fine. Sign out.
Well, if you're using your Chromebook, it won't allow you to copy the link and
Yeah, you are going to have to, yeah, you can't, if you're using that, it will not let you, but there's nothing I can do about that.
Sandy, I can share it with you right now.
can you send, Kim, can you send them all? Thanks.
Send one to Mr. Lopez and I'll send one to you right now, Sandy.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Kimberly. And the biggest thing you need to remember is putting that HTTPS : also, everything. Susie, I'm not sure what's error because I've clicked on him and I've been able to get there. So I apologize. Also, just remember that everything right now has a, yeah, if you're on Chromebooks, you may have some.
You can copy it, like highlight the whole link and then paste it, and it should work. But
you should be able to put it into a new link. Open up a new link.
If you like highlight it and copy
it. Jamie, have you been able to get on?
No. Highlighting it.
I did. Whoever just resent it. Oh, Stephanie, you did. You resent it, and I was able to get on for the eval.
Okay.
I haven't sign out yet.
Okay.
Or you can just go to go.bcsd.com and then type in the 3 letters.
Yes, that's what I was going to say, Ken. That is
Gotcha.
Yeah, thank you for being on my wavelength.
Yeah.
Sandra, everything that we've given you is it's go.bcsd.com and then / and then there's 3 letters. So you just have to put those letters in.
DRA dot, or that.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
DRA.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks again. I'm off to my next one.
All right. Thanks for spending some time with us.
I was able to get both of them, but what about the whole presentation?
Who is that? Who's
I'll
speaking?
link again.
It's Amy. I was able to
again.
do the evaluation and a sign out. Oh, there it is, the
I
presentation.
linked it again. Let me know if it works, Amy, okay?
Okay, I'm gonna try it right now.
Thanks, Lori.
I'll figure it out. If I don't get it, I'll email someone.
No, Sandra, let me help you. So what, are you on a Chromebook?
Yeah, I'm on Chromebook and it's just not letting me, it just says an error occurred and I've put it in, oh God, where'd you go? There you are.
The
I've put it in quite a few times.
Okay, Sandra, when you're on your Chromebook, are you logged in on a BCSD account?
No.
That is probably the you will not be able to get on if you're not on a BCSD account. And that's nothing that I can do. That's a BCSD.
Well, I mean, I did it earlier with my earlier training. No, I mean, like I had to do it through an email though. Somebody sent me the links through an email.
Okay, so let me go ahead and I will email this to you. All right.
Just the links.
It's Sandra Wood.
Yes.
Amy, I emailed you the presentation link. Did you get it?
I actually was able to get all of them, yes.
Yeah, are all of them at the bottom, at the end of the presentation?
They all worked, yes.
Yes. Okay, well, I'll go through that, and if I don't find it, I'll email someone and.
Nope, I sent it. You got it, Sandra. I sent it to you.
Okay, I'll
All
look
right.
and, okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Also, this Francisco Lopez, I'm still having those issues. Can you email it to me as well, if you don't mind?
Yeah, I think
emailed you one. Did it not go through?
I think Ruth emailed it to you, Mr. Lopez. Leslie, are you okay in there? Thank you.
I did get the email, but I just can't open it. So if you can send me an email to the links, that'd be great. I just having issues with it's partially on the PowerPoint.
I'm going to forward my email that I just sent. It's Francisco Lopez. Is that right, Mr.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Sandra, were you able to get it now?
I believe so, yes. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for spending time with us.
So Irene, Susie, Mercedes, Ashley, Laura, are you guys having a hard time? Are you guys doing okay?
All right.
Yes, I am. This is Irene. I can't download the link. Again, can you email
Okay.
everyone?
So yeah, let me go ahead and forward my email to Mercedes.
I already done.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Irene.
Okay, Ashley, I see your comment.
Thank you.
Irene Aguilar.
Ashley London needs it emailed as well. Your email's a little bit different though.
Oh, Ashley, yeah, London.
Ash.
Oh. I think I'm gonna find her though. London, I found you, London Ash. Okay. I just sent those.
Okay.
All right, Ashley and Irene, I just sent those. Thank you, Laura. Have a great afternoon.
Laura.